My name is Cael, and I grew up in Aldergrave. Aldergrave sits beside a forest called the Salt Roots. Everyone there believed the forest was empty and safe. I started dreaming about white trees when I turned 15. In the dreams, something huge breathed slowly behind the trees. I told my mother, and she looked scared immediately. She said a warden would want to meet me soon. 2 days later, a man named Bressan arrived at our door. Bressan said the forest already knew my name. He took me to the hollow chapel to begin training. The chapel gate was old wood carved with hundreds of names. Inside, torches lit a hallway full of damaged armor. Bressan said every suit belonged to someone who died. He showed me a stone wall covered in family names. I found my own family name carved there twice. My mother never told me we had lost anyone. Bressan said grief was often kept quiet on purpose. That night, I slept in a room meant for apprentices. I dreamed of the white trees again, closer than before. Something moved between the trees, but I never saw it. In the morning, Bressan met me before the sun rose. He said the mark gets louder before it goes quiet. He introduced me to 4 other apprentices living at the chapel. The oldest apprentice was Rosalind, missing 2 fingers on one hand. She warned me not to get close to anyone here. Training started immediately before I understood any of the rules. We learned how to track animals through mud and snow. We learned how the Devouring Kin were supposedly destroyed centuries ago. Bressan taught the history like it was settled fact. I noticed he never looked at us while teaching it. Months passed, and my training moved from theory into practice. I learned to read tracks that weren't animal or human. Rosalind started teaching me alongside Bressan during evening drills. She was harder on me than anyone else was. I asked her why she pushed apprentices so hard. She said soft training gets people killed in the roots. One evening, I found a locked door in the archive. Bressan told me it was old storage, nothing important. I didn't believe him, but I let it go. The dreams kept getting stronger every week that passed. I started sneaking into the archive after everyone was asleep. I found ledgers listing hunts that were never mentioned aloud. One ledger recorded sightings inside the Salt Roots last year. That contradicted everything I'd been taught about the forest. I found a journal hidden behind a loose stone panel. It belonged to one of the original Long Hunt survivors. The journal said the Devouring Kin were sealed, not destroyed. It said the chapel was built to keep the seal safe. I read it 3 times before I believed what it said. I brought the journal to Rosalind instead of Bressan. She read it silently, then said she already suspected something. She said senior wardens disappear into the roots sometimes, unexplained. Nobody questions those disappearances out loud, not even apprentices. We agreed to confront Bressan together the next morning. Bressan didn't deny it when we showed him the journal. He said the founders lied to protect the Order's will. He said belief in victory keeps hunters willing to fight. I asked him what was actually sealed beneath the forest. He said the Devouring Kin remember what they once consumed. He said they don't hunt to kill first, they hunt to remember. That made them slower, stranger, and far more dangerous than beasts. Bressan admitted the seal had been weakening for years now. He said the Order leadership had been hiding that fact. I asked why nobody had told the rest of Wenmore. He said fear spreads faster than any real solution does. Rosalind said the Order needed to check the seal immediately. Bressan refused, saying it would cause a panic in Aldergrave. I told him the panic mattered less than people's lives. He looked at me like I'd become someone he didn't recognize. That night, Rosalind and I decided to check the seal ourselves. We packed supplies quietly and left before anyone else woke. The Salt Roots looked different once we actually walked inside. The trees were hollow, exactly like the old journal described. There was no wind, no bird song, no sound at all. Rosalind said silence like this usually means something is close. We found the seal marker 2 hours into the forest. Cracks ran across the stone in patterns I'd never seen. Something exhaled from below the stone, slow and enormous. Rosalind grabbed my arm and told me not to move. the ground shifted and a shape rose from beneath the cracks. It looked almost human, but wrong in every small detail. It spoke my grandmother's name in her exact voice. I froze, because I recognized that voice from childhood memories. Rosalind pulled me backward before it could get closer. She said the kin use memory to make people hesitate. It called out 2 more names I recognized from the wall. I realized it remembered everyone the order had ever lost. We ran until we reached higher ground near the ridge. Brisson and 3 wardens met us there, already searching. Brisson said the seal was worse than he'd been told. He admitted he should have checked it himself, sooner. The senior wardens argued about whether to reseal or retreat. Brisson said retreating would only delay something inevitable. He said the seal needed a blood link to hold properly. That meant someone connected to the original Long Hunt bloodline. Rosalind and I both realized what that meant for me. My family name was carved on that wall for a reason. Brisson said he never wanted this responsibility to reach me. I told him it was already mine before I arrived. We moved back toward the seal as the ground kept shifting. The creature emerged fully, taller than any of the trees. It didn't attack immediately, it just watched us approach. Brisson said it was waiting to see what I'd do. I stepped forward and placed my hand on the stone. The creature's presence pressed against my thoughts like weight. I felt fragments of memories that weren't mine at all. Rosalind stayed beside me, keeping the other wardens back. The stone grew warm, then started glowing faintly under my palm. The creature let out a sound closer to grief than rage. Cracks in the seal began closing slowly under the light. The creature sank back down into the ground, resisting less. Brisson told me to keep my hand steady until it finished. The forest around us went completely silent for a moment. Then the ground settled, and the light faded from the stone. The seal looked whole again, at least for now. Brisson said this seal wouldn't hold forever, and neither would the next. Rosalind said the order needed to stop lying to itself. I agreed to help lead that change once I was ready. I walked out of the salt roots as a real warden.